Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to my channel. If you're new, I'm Kelly. This is KBellaBeauty. And I've seen a couple videos circulating in the YouTube world where people are creating their own palettes, whether it's, I saw a lot with the Anastasia Norvina palette, people were creating or showing like eyeshadow singles that they would have put in the palette. And I've also seen a few YouTube creators put together like their perfect fall palette, and they kind of took their single shadows, created a palette, and called it like their go-to fall palette or perfect fall palette. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but I will list a couple of those videos that I've seen down below because that's exactly what I'm going to be doing today. Not sure what I'm going to title this video, but it's going to be something like my perfect fall palette, because I have taken some of my favorite Makeup Geek eyeshadows. Makeup Geek does make my favorite eyeshadows. I love Makeup Geek eyeshadows. I've talked about them for a really, really long time. So I pulled out some of like my fall picks and I put them together in this little palette here. I have 9 eyeshadow picks for you that I think are perfect for fall. And I just kind of wanted to show you what my perfect fall palette would look like. So if you're interested in checking this video out, go ahead and keep on watching. So I do normally keep all of my single eyeshadows, which are mostly Makeup Geek, a few Anastasia Beverly Hills. I typically keep them in this Z palette here, and I actually did a declutter not too long ago. I had 2 Z palettes full of single eyeshadows, and I just felt like I wasn't using them all, so I wanted to make it so that all of my eyeshadows were in one. And this actually, when I had all of these other eyeshadows in here, this was actually full, but I did pull out 9 of my fall favorites and I put them in this little container here that I got off of the Makeup Geek website. I want to say it was like $13, and this is the travel case. So it does come with a really nice closure. I think you could hear it there. It comes with a nice closure. I hated traveling with my Z palette because it's just magnetic and I was afraid that it would open up. So this travel case has a nice closure. It also has a really nice mirror. You can probably see a lot of junk down here. And then of course, here I have my picks for fall, my 9 single eyeshadows. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through, I'm gonna share these eyeshadows with you, and I'm gonna go ahead and swatch them. I didn't create a look. This look that I'm wearing today is what I created using these eyeshadows, but I didn't film it because tutorials typically aren't super popular on my channel. But if you're interested in seeing maybe a 3-in-1 tutorial with this palette, or even just like one look, let me know down below, because I have nothing against filming a tutorial. Like, I can film this look for you. I have some cranberry shades, I have some green, some oranges. But when I think of fall, I think of orange, of copper, of green, just like warm toned goodness. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna pull out these eyeshadows. I'm gonna let you know the names of them, and I'm gonna swatch them on my arm for you. Let's get into it. The first shade that I have for you is called Charmed, and this is one of her foiled eyeshadows. It's what I have on my lid today. And I find that her foiled eyeshadows typically apply best with your finger, but I did use a wet brush to apply them today. But I feel like her foileds, they're really, really pretty. They're super pigmented, but it's best if you don't use a dry brush. If you actually go in with some kind of wet brush, use a setting spray, use water, or go in with your finger, and they're really, really pretty. But this is a really nice lid shade. It is kind of, I would say, in the green tone family. It looks a little silver swatched on its own, but if you look on my lid, I feel like it looks really, really green on my lid when paired with like oranges and stuff. So this is just a really pretty shade. If you are a redhead like me, purples and greens look really good on us, so that's a really pretty lid shade. Next in the palette, I did pick out a matte green. This is in the shade High Tea. This is what I have like right in my crease socket. I feel like Makeup Geek's mattes are super duper like silky and creamy. I do not get any fallout with her shadows, which is something that I really, really love. And the thing that I like about High Tea is it definitely pulls green It is a green shade, but it has a brown undertone. So it doesn't look like you have like a bright green eyeshadow look. You still get the green hint, the hint of green, but like I said, it does have a brown undertone, which I feel like makes it perfect for in the crease. Now these next two picks were kind of wild cards for me because I feel like when you look at the palette, it doesn't necessarily look like they go with the greens and oranges, but I'm a mauve girl. I love mauves and cranberries, so I still wanted to add them in there. The first is this shade right here in Vintage. It is a matte shade. This again would be perfect in the crease, or I feel like I probably even could have used this with the green and orange eyeshadow look if I put it in the outer corner, and I could have used it to like deepen up that V. But this definitely is a mauve shade. I don't feel like it pulls very heavy purple, but there is a purple undertone, and it's just really, really pretty. You can throw it in the crease. You could throw it in the crease with just like a neutral color on your lid, maybe like a light gold, or the next shade that I'm gonna show you is a shade that I would pair on the lid with it. But like I said, I mean, you could even use this to deepen up the outer V, I feel like, with the greens and oranges. Although this isn't the color that I typically think of to go with greens and oranges, I really do love this shade. This next eyeshadow is beautiful on the lid. It's in the shade Anarchy. Oh, this one feels super soft and creamy. It's not a foiled, this is a satin finish. I feel like you could pair it with Vintage. You could put Vintage in the crease, or even Vintage in the outer V and put like a neutral shade in the crease, and then throw Anarchy on the lid, and it's just a beautiful cranberry. It's not like a heavy, heavy, deep cranberry, but it definitely gives me cranberry vibes. I feel like it's still very wearable, and people aren't gonna like look at your eyes and be like, you look a little sick, what's going on there? So that's a really pretty lid shade. Of course, no palette is complete without a transition shade. As you can see, I've used this shade a lot. This is Beaches and Cream. This is good for my skin tone if you have like a very, very light complexion. I'm not sure how this swatch will show up because it is just like a perfect peachy transition for me. And I used this today to kind of blend my crease shade in with my brow bone. So it's hard to see. You can't really see it very good on my arm because it is very close to my skin tone, but when you're looking for a transition shade, that's what you want. You want a shade close to your skin tone that's just gonna help you blend out the eyeshadows. This next eyeshadow is really, really unique. It's called Karma. It doesn't say that it's a duochrome on the back. It just says that it's an eyeshadow, but to me it looks like a duochrome because I feel like you can see gold, you can see orange, and you can see green. And what I did was I took a little bit of this on my finger, super creamy, blends really nice, and I patted it right on the center of my eyeshadow, or the center of my lid, and I feel like it just made my eyeshadow pop a little bit. It's just a very unique shade, and I feel like you can just get I get so many vibes with this. Like when I tilt it, I can see orange, I can see peach, I can see yellow, but on my eyes, I felt like it pulled a little green, and so I felt like it just went very nicely with my eyeshadow look today, made my eyes pop. I really, really like this shade. It's not a shade that like I find myself reaching for every day, but when I want something a little bit more unique or something to pop a little bit, I really like this eyeshadow for that. Again, I feel like these next two shades are kind of mandatory. This is Tiki Hut. It's just a warm brown shade. This could go in your crease, just to kind of define your eyes a little bit. It's just a basic, I mean, honestly, every palette kind of just has those brown transition shades, and I like a warm brown, so as you could see, you could go in with Tiki Hut and throw a little bit of Karma on the lid. You could even take one of these deeper matte shades, High Tea or Vintage, and put it in the outer V to give some definition, and it's one of those shades that just kind of goes with everything, gives you a nice crease, and I had to add it in my perfect fall palette. In my opinion, no fall palette is complete without an orange. I typically stray away from oranges, but there's something nice about a nice orange crease. So this is the shade Early Bird. It's a matte. I do have this in my crease today, and I went in with this shade first before I took High Tea lower in the crease. And this just warms everything up. Even if you have like cool toned eyeshadows on your eyes, if you take a little bit of this Early Bird and throw it in there, it's really gonna warm up the look. And when I think of fall, I think of orange, I think of green, I think of warm. And I just feel like I couldn't have created this palette without a good orange. Last but not least, I did throw a copper in there. This is another foiled eyeshadow in the shade Legend. This one is very, very pretty. It looks great on the lid, and it's just, oh, it matches my earrings perfectly. It's just like a really, really nice copper. Look at that pigment. I love her foiled eyeshadows. Just remember, they apply best with your finger or a wet brush, but this copper is just so stunning. It looks so pretty on the lid, and it just really gives me fall vibes, and I absolutely love it. So I wanted to throw it in there. I wanted that to be my 9th eyeshadow. I do have more mattes than I do satins or foils. So I do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mattes, and then I do have 2 foils, a duochrome, and a satin finish. So this is just personal preference. The perfect fall eyeshadow, in my opinion. I think that I am going to have to throw this into my next makeup monthly for the month of October to get some more use out of it. I've been wanting to pull my Makeup Geek eyeshadows out, and when I look at these swatches, I'm just reminded of how much I love Makeup Geek eyeshadows. That's gonna do it for this video. I would love to know in the comments down below, what are some single eyeshadows that you would pull out to be in your perfect eyeshadow palette? Like if you had a 9-pan eyeshadow palette that you could curate, what shadows would you put in there for fall? Are they similar to mine? Are they different? Are you more cool toned in the fall versus my warm tone? I would love to know down below. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Again, let me know if you want to see a tutorial. I can film one for you using these eyeshadow shades. You just gotta let me know. I do post 2 videos a week, Wednesdays and Saturdays, trying to get back into posting a 3rd on Mondays or Tuesdays. So make sure you hit that subscribe button before you go so that you can watch any new content that I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.